Hey there, everybody. It's Michael Ray here. Just wanted to do a quick video on political parties. This is going out to a lot of you young people out there. Apologize for the audio quality. I realize it's not that good. Probably skimped a little. I should have went a little bit. Probably not quite such a cheap microphone, but what can you do? All right, so here's how this went down for me. If you're like me and I'm not young anymore, but when I was, I didn't pay attention to politics. Probably not till I was in my late 20s. Um, and even then, after I paid attention, I was getting duped a lot because here's some things that you have to understand. One, they're all lying to you. The left or the right, they're all lying to you. I know that a lot of you kids in college, you like to be on the left and like all the socialism and all the, your teachers in high school have taught you that and your college professors have taught you that, and you think you're cutting edge because you want to be a Marxist too. You think you're counterculture, but well, you're not really counterculture if everybody's teaching you that, if that's the culture. See, counterculture means going against the grain. You're just going with the grain, and it's wrong. Those on the right, you're also getting duped. And here's why. It's not entirely your fault. Because, like I said, they're lying to you, but it kind of goes a little further than that. Not only are they lying to you, they're really good at it. Okay, they have the media to lie to you. They have politicians to lie to you. Okay, so this is a concert of deceit. 9 out of 10 of them know that. 10% may be true believers and may actually believe their own nonsense, but most of them know, right? Donna Brazile knows she's a crook. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, they know they're crooks. But they know that they can dupe at least 50% of the population because they're on the left. And so no matter what they do or what they say, 50% of the country will be okay with it. That's the big trick, right? They lie so much. The left blames it on the right blames it on the left. And if you're blind by partisan politics, you'll believe an absolute lie because your team is saying the lie. Well, that doesn't make it any better. But again, it's not totally your fault because you're getting duped. Now listen, here's another point. There's something called projection, where you project your moral values on someone else. And so if you're a good person, you kind of project your morality on that politician, whoever it is, thinking, well, he wouldn't do that because I wouldn't do that. That's what you're thinking in your head. You're probably not saying it out loud. You might not even be aware of it, but that's what you're doing. But you have to understand, they're not you. And they're not as good as you. They're not as moral as you. They don't care. They probably have no God, or if they do, it's not the Christian God. So for them, it's no big deal. But you kind of use your own, and I know I'm just saying this because this is my own experience in the past. I thought, no, that can't be true because I would never do that. That's ridiculous. Not realizing there's a reason why they're in Washington. There's a reason why they're at CNN and MSNBC in those mainstream outlets. There's a reason. There's a reason that the CIA takes the people they take. It's not because they're good. It's because they're not good. At least a lot of them. And they're willing to do things that any normal Christian person would never do. Now, 1992, I was in the military. I voted absentee ballot for Bill Clinton. Needless to say, in 1992, I didn't know anything. Here was my reasoning. We had Ronald Reagan and George Bush before that, from 1980 to that point. And so at that point, that's all I had known was Republican presidents. My thinking was, let's try a Democrat president. I didn't really know anything about the Clintons, but then I didn't know a lot about politics. So I voted absentee ballot for Bill Clinton in 92. And then I had to spend the rest of the 90s kicking myself in the ass because I had just made a terrible mistake. Well, those of us old enough to remember the 90s, they were economically pretty good because the internet came around. All this technology was blossoming at the same time. So Clinton really hit it, timing-wise, right on the head. But all the corruption of Hillary Clinton and him and all his women and the rape allegations and the sexual assaults, the Monica Lewinsky, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Bad. And so I didn't want anything to do with the Democrats. I changed to Republican. Okay, remember, I didn't realize there's no difference. 2000, I voted for George Bush. We all remember the recount, all that stuff that was pretty widely contested. Well, that was a mistake too, because now I had just voted for a Bush, and his father was in the CIA. His grandfather, I think Prescott Bush, was involved with the Nazis in World War II. The Bushes have a pretty dark past, and it's pretty, if anybody ever really researched it, they'd be terrified, because it really is that bad. And so, what did we get with Bush? Well, we got 9/11. The intelligence community, both here in the United States, Israel, and the UK, along with banking interests around the globe, central bankers, those for the Federal Reserve, the private bank that we pay our debt to with interest, they decided that in the 21st century that they were going to need something big like a new Pearl Harbor. So lo and behold, 9/11 happened. Anybody knows anything about physics, anybody that knows anything about how buildings come down, know that those buildings, World Trade Center 1, 2, and 7, were all rigged with explosives. That's how they came down. The planes would only do so much. A building doesn't disintegrate just because it's hit by a plane. They're built to withstand that, just in case that accidentally happens, that it doesn't do what it did on 9/11. And it's never has before, never will again. Why they came down is because they were rigged to come down. They wanted that happen. They needed that to happen so that they could move the chess pieces on the chessboard. They needed to invade countries. They needed to move some things around. They needed to get some dictators out and some other people in. They needed the terrorists to wreak havoc so that we would give up our rights, that we would give up the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which they've pretty much taken completely away from us at this point. Now, you might not like Trump, and if you don't, that's fine, but look, we got to take what we can get. He is at least trying to push back on this whole agenda. Okay, this one government over the world that they're trying to pull on us. That the Brexit and Trump's election was a big blow to that. So we need to support him. And if you're not a Trump guy or girl, try to just bear with it, because look, if Hillary had gotten in, folks, things would have gone dark real quick. You probably don't even realize you don't have any rights left until you try to exercise them, right? So keep that in mind. I'm going to cut this a little short, but let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe share how you woke up. I know 9/11 was the big thing that woke me up to say, uh-oh, something is really, really wrong. So again, I'm Michael Ray. Thanks for watching. I hope the audio quality wasn't too bad. I'll probably have to spring for a more expensive microphone, but for now, we'll have to bear with it. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.